Hi everyone, it's Nick. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, in this video today, I am going to be showing you our 3D renderings for our beautiful new home that we're building in BC's Okanagan. So it's been about 8 months since I updated you. It felt a little bit like it was time to update because there have been some setbacks, and I am going to get to the renderings in a second because we worked with Fiverr on the renderings for our new space. This video is actually sponsored by Fiverr. So if you're not familiar with Fiverr, it is an online marketplace that connects you with freelancers offering a range of digital services. For this project, we work with a person who was really specialized in 3D rendering to be able to turn our design ideas for our home into renderings that really helped us understand what the home is going to look like. This person is really specialized in software called 3D Max, which is really kind of highly skilled, and we were able to find a freelancer who is amazing at being able to use this software to create really gorgeous, honestly photorealistic, beautiful renders for us that really helped us visualize our home. I'll also add that our wonderful freelancer was the one who created all the renders that you're going to be seeing in this video. So if you like what you see here, feel free to reach out to her. She was fabulous to work with. If you're interested in having your home rendered like this, you can always head over to Fiverr, fivrr.co/NickLewis. You can check out the services available, and you can also get 10% off with code NickLewis. I also wanted to take a quick minute and just share with you all sort of the update of what's happened, because if you're not familiar, we are building this brand new custom home, which we've purchased the land and we're really excited to build, but there has been some setbacks over the last 6 months or so that have really sort of pushed back our build date a little bit. I don't know if you've noticed, if you've maybe checked out the news lately, but there's a little thing called inflation, which has really pumped up the price, especially, can't speak for everywhere, in the world in terms of how building costs have moved, but the price of building has really substantially increased. And we knew that was coming, and it was already kind of in motion when we sort of bought the land, but we've really seen, lumber, for example, has absolutely blown up in the last little bit. And it's just not even about how expensive it is, it's how volatile it is. Like, things are moving up and down so quickly that it's really a challenge to sort of nail down pricing. And that's really what it kind of comes down to, is us sort of working with our builder to understand the different pricing and how we can land on something that we're comfortable with. Because we really didn't want to build something that we didn't want just because we could, and we could build that now. We thought we'd rather wait and see where things go, see where things sort of shake out as hopefully we move post-pandemic a little bit more, and see how things shake out, just to make sure that we get the house that we really want. So, we're comfortable with this. It's not the biggest deal in the world. We're honestly just so grateful that we're able to build this home. I'm not complaining by any stretch, but the reality is that houses that were costing, $1 million to build a year ago are costing, it feels like 1.5 now. And that's just kind of feels crazy, depending on, again, how you sort of time that market in terms of getting your pricing. So that's kind of how that whole, last 6 months or kind of year has been in terms of progression. But we have been working away on these renderings and really nailing down the design, and this has just really given us more time to really understand what you really want and let that sink in before you make a really important decision, like what materials you're going to be using in this home that is probably going to be the biggest purchase you'll ever make in your entire life. So it is nice to be able to take that time. But now let's get to some of these renderings, because I really wanted to talk a little bit about how the color palette has changed, the home has changed. We've shrunk the floor plan a little bit, which was just honestly right-sizing the home for our needs, to be honest. So it has changed, I think, since the last update. I'm going to put the new latest floor plan here. But the other thing in terms of the design is we have really changed sort of the materials and the color palette that we really wanted for the home. So originally, we really wanted a lot of like light oak floors, a lot of black, and a lot of stone or gray stone or even concrete. And I think this is just because Mike and I were so in love with a lot of these sort of Japandi images that that I use in my videos all the time. And I think we just really fell in love with that and thought, yes, this is the direction that we want. These are sort of the images that we were really attracted to, and we worked with our Fiverr freelancer, and they really did a great job of bringing that vision to light. So the first version of the kitchen, which I want to talk about, is very black, gray, and oak. And here it is right here. And you can see, first of all, just absolutely amazing to see a floor plan and come through in this 3D rendering. I mean, how so cool is this, right? So this is using a software called 3D Max. So on Fiverr, you can actually get a person that does 3D Max, and they can do what are essentially photorealistic renderings of your home, giving you a really good idea of what you're going to get so that you can inform the choices that you're going to make as a homeowner if you're working with a designer. So I'm not trying to shade anybody, but you can just use some something like Photoshop or Canva or something and come up with something that is like a very basic sort of interpretation of your space. But 3D Max, which is what we decided to go with a freelancer from Fiverr, was a much more photorealistic version of what we really wanted to create. So I just want to take a minute and talk about that. It's a really beautiful, high quality rendering, and it's just honestly amazing to be able to see your space come to life. So seeing this space here, you can see the Japandi influence that we were talking about. So first of all, we really had this really gorgeous 10-foot island, and that's really what we wanted to do here. So we're really excited about that. And the other thing I really want to point out is that kitchen window that goes on to the backyard, which overlooks the gorgeous view of the Okanagan, which is beautiful. But we were really inspired by this image that we saw. And this one really showed kind of what we were looking for, which is bringing that sort of outdoors in, being able to sort of pass through things to the backyard area. You know, during the summertime, you can sort of open it up and people can sit there, you still have a conversation or share food or whatever with people that are still working in the kitchen. And it really does look amazing in this 3D rendering, so I'm really excited about that. But the color palette and the materials used, as you can see, are very dark with the gray and the light oak floors. I think it looks really good. I'm really quite happy with it, but ultimately this was a design that we didn't feel made sense for us. You know, I think one of the things that you get as you get a little bit older is you start to understand what is a little bit more kind of the moment and what you sort of really enjoy right now, but might be something that you might get sick of in the future. And you start to look at things that you loved 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, and you start to go, well, if I loved it then and I love it now, I'm probably gonna love it another 5 years. So for me and for Mike, we really had a discussion one day where we were just like, you know, what is the style that we really, really love? And we really came back to beautiful veining in some gorgeous cream stones, these creamy tones, but really walnut and brushed gold just really felt like material choices that just spoke to us. So we worked with our freelancer at Fiverr and created an updated version too. And that's, by the way, a tip that I have. If you're working with a freelancer or with a designer, what you really also want to talk about is like, how many revisions do you get when you're trying to work with getting these renderings done? That's really important because you might save a little bit up front, but if you're only allowed like 1 revision or you're allowed no revisions, that's tricky because you're gonna change your mind and you're gonna want to see different comparisons of like, okay, well, what happens if I use this light fixture instead of this one? How is that going to affect all this other areas? Not even like you're going to change your mind, you just want to see comparison, because really that's the value I think that you're getting out of these renderings, is it creates a visualization and a discussion to be able to arrive at a decision. So version 2 was incorporating more of those walnut creamy stones and the gorgeous brushed gold, which you guys know that I love. First of all, I think right away, okay, so a bit of a mix up on my part in terms of the dimensions of that hilarious pendant over top of the island. That is obviously way too short, so I may have given her the wrong link. That was kind of on me, but I really, really love this. I do still love the touches of black in there, and I think that works really well. Of course, we're going with the black appliances, which I think just gives that little touches of black, as well as the window frames. As well, right now, we've incorporated it as a black faucet. I think we're probably gonna switch that out for the brushed gold, just because I think when you look at these other renderings as well, ooh, it just looks really good with that combination of those 3. So to me, I've got some samples here. Like I've got this stone, which I just fell in love with. I'm gonna show you also what it looks like in a full slab. Found this at the stone yard, kind of fell in love with it. So sometimes, you know, you just gotta kind of trust your gut. And then of course you've got the brushed gold fixtures, which I love. And then you've got the walnut. And I just think this combination, it's us. It's just a combination that I think I really, really enjoy, and something that we won't get tired of because we've loved it for many years. So I think we're gonna love it well into the future. Okay, so let's move into the bar and dining area. So if we sort of take a look at our floor plan here, this is actually against the back wall as soon as you come down the stairway. So we really wanted it to have a nice connection with the kitchen. So we wanted to match the millwork to be able to connect those two. The dining area also sort of links them as well. So we really wanted everything to kind of play nice together so that everything looked like it was quite cohesive, because it is quite an open space. And so we really wanted to make sure that there was that nice connection. But we really wanted to do something a little bit different, to be able to bring a couple of different materials that I think complement the kitchen quite nicely, but still look cohesive and still well coordinated. So you see that we had like a walnut slat detail under our kitchen island. We're bringing that forward into the bar and dining area. Those brushed gold fixtures are being brought through. The same walnut cabinetry is being brought through, but we decided to use a different stone. By switching out the stone, we're able to do something a little bit different, and I think a little bit more, I don't want to say say, I hate the word elevated, but it is. It's a bar, right? So this is a bar area. So to me, this is something that we wanted to do something a little bit more special and a little bit more of a unique stone. This is beautiful. Like, I just love sort of the mix of brown tones that you're getting. It's quite milk and dark chocolate swirled in one. This is one of my favorite stones, I think, of all time is Imperador Dark. I just love it. It's oftentimes in traditional design paired with Crema Marfil, which was another stone that we shortlisted. And who knows, maybe we'll use somewhere else in the home, which is just like that really classic pattern you might be familiar with. That combination of stones is very popular. But we actually also really fell in love with this image that's right here, that we thought we really loved this sort of coordination of stone, walnut, but also with wallpaper. So I think really taking something that was like a rattan wallpaper and really moving it through into the bar, I thought made something that was really unique and special, and just sort of really created that amazing feature right central into that bar area. So I'm really excited to see how this goes. Okay, let's move over into the living room. So we're gonna spin that little camera around and we're gonna go over to the living room, because I'll be honest, this space right here, the rendering that you're seeing, this is only version 1. We haven't actually gone back and really done any significant changes here. So this is the one that's the most subject to change. But I think this is a pretty good first take done by our wonderful freelancer to be able to show us what this great room is going to look like. So I think this is beautiful. I really love the fireplace. I mean, that is an amazing focal point. I think that television probably gonna be a little bit too big, but we're sorting through the sizing there. But right now, we're probably gonna choose a little bit more of an interesting, kind of unique stone. I'm thinking we might use something like the Jura Beige, or maybe even could even repeat some of the stones that we're using in other areas of the home. But this is also nice, really beautiful limestone. Very simple, you know, could also use something like a travertine, but something that's just a really nice, soft, neutral beige set against that creamy wall that you see behind there. I think that's really, really beautiful. We were inspired by some of these really simple modern fireplaces with sort of these little glass enclosures, and I think these are really beautiful. If you saw in my last episode, Mike really fought for his fireplace. Listen, I was not against the fireplace, okay? I get it. It's a beautiful fireplace, and yes, of course, we're gonna go with the fireplace that he designed. He did a really, I think, great job of capturing sort of what we want to do here. I love this large column. We're gonna see if we end up doing this huge large column to the ceiling. The thing is with this, by the way, this Jura Beige, like, this is actually quite cost effective. I know a lot of people are just like, oh, that's a lot of natural stone to put right to the ceiling. And it would be if we were looking at, you know, 50, 60 bucks a square foot, but actually limestone and travertine can be quite cost effective, especially if you're buying them in these large slabs. Always go and check and you know, ask about pricing. Go to the stone yard and really sort of do your due diligence, because there is a lot of really affordable stones that work out to be cheaper than you would if you were to go to, you know, Ann Sachs or something and choose a tile or something like that. Yeah, I do think that there's some affordable stones out there, and that's something that's gonna be really important, is really going for something that's a great value, because that is a lot of stone to go on that fireplace. And we don't want to detract from what is sort of the real focal point, which of course is the view. And that is what's going to be really truly special, is that view going out onto the pool deck. And that's really what we want to highlight. Getting a sectional was, obviously we haven't chosen one, but this is sort of a concept that we have chosen from Rove Concepts. This is a vegan suede, green vegan suede, which we are quite loving. It's a performance fabric. Sophie's gonna be jumping on this thing. We need something that's going to work for her and for us and for our guests. And so that's obviously something like this, I think, is going to work really well. So we've got those two chairs over there. We haven't exactly pinpointed the model of what we're going to be choosing, but something that's, you know, a little bit more practical and makes more sense for people that might struggle to get out into and out of such a low sofa. Definitely something really cool is gonna have to happen on that left side. This is a little underwhelming for me in this rendering. We got time to sort this through. Who knows when we're building this? Okay, and then finally, let's talk about the primary bedroom. So as you all know, I have said this, I think, in previous videos, that I really wanted a black bedroom, and that made sense with that sort of design style and color palette that we had sort of talked about earlier. And so I really want to show you what that original black bedroom was, because we did have it rendered and it does look really cool and it is beautiful, but ultimately is not what we're probably gonna be going with. So we have always fallen in love with this image right here, which is sort of an inspirational image I've used on this channel before, and I really loved it and thought, okay, we can do this, but maybe like sub out the mirrors, sub in the stone, and come up with something really neat. And we did, and here it is. So this is the rendering that we came up with, which was version 1. Feel free to steal it, it's beautiful. We looked at these matte black engineered hardwood floors. We looked at these sort of interesting crescent pendants. We had a black bed all picked out. We had that gorgeous grasshopper lamp dupe that we have an article, as well as an article chair in the corner there. We were super, super excited about this, but it never quite felt right to me. And it also didn't work with the new palette that we'd really designed for the home. And we just kind of felt in the end, we wanted to go for something that we felt was a little bit lighter, made sense for the rest of the home, and was maybe a little bit more elegant and played with some different materials. And so that's where we came up with this rendering. This to me, I think is much better coordinated with the rest of the space. The hardwood floors we haven't chosen them by the way yet. I think we just had these rendered with the Divine flooring ones that we had put into this place, into this apartment, which I already love. So I'm kind of partial to that already. So we'll see if that's the wood flooring that we choose, but that's probably where we're gonna start. And then we have this beautiful cream rug. Again, a lot of these things, by the way, we haven't exactly picked out, but we just have a pretty good idea. And then this gorgeous walnut bench with these little black detailing. So again, we've got like a little bit of some black in there, touches of black, but overall keeping it fairly in line with some walnut woods, light cream, and little touches of brass, which is something that we just love. I do think that there might be some room to play with some wallpaper. We might play with some other different interesting things in this space. So again, this is not final, but I really love where this bedroom is going. It feels a little bit more us. It feels sort of better integrated, and I think it creates a really cohesive space and really just kind of adjoins to all the neighboring rooms, I think, really beautifully. We still have a lot of work to do with these designs. We are going to be still making some changes. I think there's some more materials that we can bring in that we can then, or even take the existing materials that we have and sort of repeat them in bathrooms in really interesting ways. So look for that in the future as we move forward into this design. So also, by the way, I'll say thank you very much for Fiverr for sponsoring this video. I mean, these renderings are absolutely gorgeous. I have loved working with my Fiverr freelancer. She has been completely, you can imagine how high maintenance I am, and she has been really amazing at taking our feedback and taking the very specific things that I was looking for, and really was able to create something that was truly beautiful and really help give us sort of the space to be able to have something that we can see and visualize, and then we can start to kind of revise and sort of come up with something that's even better than we had before. And I think that's really kind of what I wanted you guys to see in this video. And overall, Fiverr was amazing at being able to provide us, and our freelancer really did a great job with that. So if you are interested in working with Fiverr, maybe for another project, please go to fvrr.co/Nick Lewis. I'll put the link all here and of course down in the description. And if you use code Nick Lewis, you can actually get 10% off your order to work with whatever freelancer you want. Fiverr has made it really easy, convenient, and affordable to be able to hire amazing freelancers all across the world to be able to help you with whatever project you've got going on. So it's been an ongoing project working with Fiverr, and it's been absolutely a dream. So thank you so much for sponsoring this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye.